Okay, so Suede, great question. Suede is going to be what underpins all transactions on the network. And so when I said it's also on Solana, so the network is Solana. When I said also that we want a frictionless experience, we want the person also that is purchasing, whether it be a subscription or whether it be a per piece, we want them to have the ability to not have to purchase the cryptocurrency and do that. So they'll have the ability to pay with credit or debit, which then will auto buy Suede, which gives buying support. And so that will be the method of conveyance to whomever's creating the music. They do have the ability, obviously, to swap out if they have bills to pay or whatever the case may be. And that is why we've also launched or intend to launch, we just mentioned this recently and announced it, an NFT collection, which proceeds will go to buying Sway to mitigate any further token pressure due to people needing to swap and to pay bills. But our tokenomics are pretty unparalleled. We've got 53% of the supply is burnt forever. Our top holder is Incinerator. With 53% of the supply, they will always be the top holder because no one can obviously obtain that. We've got another 10% roughly that's in locks. And, we are integrating Suede into every aspect of the staking, of the governance in regards to what's going to actually influence the model. That'll be based upon what's trending. And then the community, whatever's number one trending, can then vote if they want that to be put into the model. And so that's going to be based upon the amount of Suede that you hold. So the amount of Suede is the amount of influence you have on the agent, thusly the amount of royalties you're due, and all of that is paid in Suede. So that's it's just the underpinning of the financial rails because we couldn't do it any other way. I use the example of Brave Browser when they launched the BAT token. They were able to onboard millions of people onto the browser without spending millions of dollars. They could say, here, you'll earn some BAT token and maybe it'll be worth something, maybe it won't, but here's a little bit of an incentive and we'll give you BAT token if you watch some ads. And that's how they onboarded and bootstrapped an entire community. And I don't think they'd be around without it. So it's really integral and integrated into all the components of the platform.
They got me with BAT. You named one specifically that caught me
Yeah,
up in that net
me
too,
too.
and I still use the browser, so that's a great
Same,
example.
same.
So what's the impetus of the project and what made you decide to start this? Because it's obviously you got a background in music or a love for music, but why
Yes.
start it?
So I was pretty fortunate in my business career. None of it was blockchain related, but I always loved Bitcoin. I read Internet of Money and watched all the Andreas Antonopoulos videos in 2016, 2017, and was fortunate. I had my daughter about 3.5 years ago, and when she turned 2, I realized time was flying by. So I decided to step away from business for a little bit and spend time with her. And so I retired. And then I saw what was going on with the music industry. I don't think I need to go into too much detail. Everybody knows what's happening there. And not just the exploitation financially, but physically and emotionally. So that was happening. And then also, it was right when the kid had, I don't know if you remember the kid on Pump who took off, and then the other kid who had an unfortunate circumstance, which is very sad. So I was thinking to myself, I love music. I've never done anything professionally in music, but it's always been a passion of mine. And then I love blockchain and what it stands for, like empowering people. And I've sent money to Venezuela, to South Africa. I've been able to free people that have had generations of oppression from tyrannical governments with this technology. And it's getting the biggest press that it's getting is 13-year-old runs off with $30,000 and all these ridiculous things that were going on, and a lot of people don't know either. Pump Fund was created to be a transparent launch pad, a fair launch pad, and it's gotten a lot of bad press and it's gotten kind of co-opted. I think the team has done some things, but um, I felt like the ethos was really being kind of neglected. And so I thought, I'm gonna I'm gonna take a crack at this. I'm gonna do this. Never launched anything, never wanted to. But I really saw with AI agency and all of the things that were happening, uh, a chance to right the ship a bit.
And that's a huge segue into the agent conversation since you
Mm.
mentioned it right there. There's a lot of agent stuff going into what Suede is doing. How does it all fit together right now with the meta?
So we have the AI agent live that's currently feeding to the X account, so you can talk with it, and it's probably out there right now. Being smooth to some big account. But yeah, you can talk with it, and it's going to. We're going to have a number of processes that utilize AI agents, but the one that I think is most is going to be a real game changer is the ability for it to join spaces, and then someone be able to say, "Hey, Johnny Suede, play me some hip hop," and so you're getting exposure to other people's works. You're getting exposure to the agent, and then also it's going to bring, like I said, things that are trending into the X account for people to listen to and start to see some of the potential of what can be created with the model.
It's fascinating. I'm over here playing around with it right now, and I think it definitely has some potential. It's fun to see this stuff on the blockchain. I think there's probably some little things that, as a learning curve on how to optimize your
Mm.
specific platform. But it's pretty cool. I'll as I play around with it, I'll what's your see your Twitter handle over there, and if I find anything along the way, I'll make sure to share my findings along the way. And
Sure.
so tell us more about this. How the core features of Suede are going to give artists full control over their music and their royalties, because as we discussed in the space here, I think there's a whole lot of opportunity for this kind of thing, especially like Taylor Swift's not going to be making music down the road, but there's going to be new Taylor Swift songs popping off everywhere
Yes.
all the time. Taylor AI stuff is going to start happening. And so let's say, for example, the biggest pop queen in the world, if she were to give control to AI and create this, how would that benefit? How does that change the power dynamics in the music industry?
So what's really cool and what will be happening is we'll be forking the agent so that people can have their own, and they can get more granular and nuanced with the way that they want it to produce the music. So they can have it done in their style. And if you know anything about the Swifties, I think that she had got into a lawsuit with the hedge fund that owned her music, and they launched an album. She said, "Don't buy it," and it sold, I think it was 30 albums. 30 albums. Did you see that?
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much clout that girl got.
Right. So imagine if she were to mint a CNFT, that would give people, access to not only proof of ownership and provenance and, some intellectual properties based on what Taylor Swift wants to offer. They could own that and verify it, and then have that in their social profile, showing that they do have this. And um, as everything moves increasingly into metaverse and online, um, I think people are going to be less interested in showing the album cover that they got for 1989, but actually showing like they have a badge, for the album attached to their name, that someone can click it and it'll bring them right to the transaction hash, and they can see that, wow, this person actually owns a piece of that CNFT. And so I think that is going to be part of it. And then also, like I said, just the model being able to be tweaked and refined and created by the artist, and then the output being able to be refined further till they're happy with it. It can be refined till there's nothing, or there's a lot. So that's going to be how they get involved, and that's going to be a very creative process. Right now it's not so much. There still are things that, with the prompts and stuff, but it will be a very, very creative process, especially through the iterative feedback, and then also the refinement at the end.
So as you continue to grow Suede and you scale out to a global audience, you're going to run into some things like language issues and stuff. How do you continue to grow and reach the audience fully in Web3 outside of the US and English speaking areas?
Fortunately, LLMs and AI are moving at such a pace that we will have the ability to integrate multiple languages increasingly easily as time does proceed. We still have the ability to do that to some extent currently, but it is very limited. And so as the models accommodate more of the different languages, then we'll have the ability to, and it's moving at such a pace. It wouldn't be surprising to me if that was in 2 months max, so that's going to have to happen because we want people, in places that aren't the West to really have the ability to do some cool stuff and maybe make a few dollars doing it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, to be able to take a song and to be able to convert it into multiple languages and play around with that. I want to ask about this because we're getting close to the end here, but DeepSeek just launched its new model. Does advancements like that, where it's like 95% more efficient and the cost of it is so much better and cheaper, does that help tools like Suede become
Yes.
more effective if you're building on the shoulders of those giants?
That's exactly it. I've said it a number of times. We build on the shoulders of giants, and yeah, all of the things like even our X agent, it's an ELIZA fork, like many things are. So as the technology and the geniuses across the world continue to increase accessibility and a lot of the efficiency of these models, then yes, we have access to increasingly better open source data models and things like that. So 100%.
So I would imagine that something like this is going to help musicians build a deeper connection with their art, with their fans. One thing I'm fascinated with, and
Yes.
I won't talk too much about it, is music is getting more parasocial than it's ever been. People feel like they absolutely know celebrities these days because you have so many ways to be a part of their lives. So what do you think it means for artists to be able to be more connected through software like this?
Well, I think one of the, and that's a great point. And I think one of the cool aspects of this that people will enjoy, and, as someone that considers themselves a hobby musician, I some of the most interesting videos that I watch is people creating the creative process, especially go back and watch some of the stuff from Abbey Road and the Beatles, late 60s, like seeing that, just that the thought process that take place are incredible. So this iterative feedback that I kind of alluded to earlier is basically, say I play a note to the model and I say, I want this to sound as if it's a major third. I want this to sound like an augmented chord. And it gives me something that isn't quite what I'm looking for. Well, then I do it again and I continue to refine it. So going back and forth over that process, you kind of get a bit of narration to the internal process of an artist that you wouldn't otherwise, because they're really being vocal about what they want as they basically are creating another extension of themselves. So I think that's going to be really interesting for communities as well. And then also just having the ability to interact with it and say, wow, it was created to do this sort of thing. And they must really enjoy that. And I understand now why a lot of the songs have a Roy Orbison song typically ends on a verse. I get it now. It makes sense. And so that's kind of going to be, I think, a more dynamic relationship.
And we're all able to become the conductors of our own AI symphony. People like me and Travis are finally going to be able to put the music out, man. This is a great
Mm.
conversation and a topic that I still feel like people are absolutely sleeping on. So, Johnny, before we get out of here, keeping an eye on the clock, we got a lot of listeners here from your community and also from Mario's community. We've got X links at AI Suede. It's AISUEDE, AI Suede. Where would we send everybody? What would be our final call to action or final thoughts before we go?
So linktree.com/Suede AI. I know it's kind of confusing because the X is at AI Suede, but linktree.com /Suede AI brings you to suedeai.org, suede.so brings you to the Suede app at suede app.suedeai.xyz. All our socials, all our videos, all our interviews. Clearly, I'm completely doxxed, and so my entire life is on there as well, on YouTube. So linktree.com/SUEDEAI.
Love it. This is beautiful. This is some fun stuff. And so I was playing
Yeah.
around. I got the song to generate. and it
Nice.
has a little equalizer and stuff there. Man, when you get that set up where you can say, "Oh, drums, regenerate those," oh man, when you can take it, because I can see what you're thinking on that. You each have each one of those in the hertz, and you can change that. So it's sort of like you're playing with the EQ of the different tracks. But when you can start going in and go, "Oh, here's 8 tracks. Here's what made the song. How do you want to regenerate that and fix?" Oh man, woo! It's going to be so cool. And as you said, we're probably just weeks away, hours away. Who knows where the new thing sort of pops off. So man, I want to say thank you for coming on today, Johnny, and teaching us all about SUEDE AI. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more and also message you on the as I'm seeing stuff. I've actually uploaded another song that I did playing around with it just the other day. And as the dude cut me off, the dude in the big truck cut me off, and so I wrote a derogatory song around it. You can see that. I'm posting it.
I love it.
I'm going to post it right now. It's going to go on my Twitter. And I want to say thank you, man. Thank you for coming on and being a sponsorship. AI and music is something that I didn't even know was going to be a passion of mine, but I'm just a smart ass. Cool. And so I like to have fun with it. I'm using songs as jokes. I like to troll with creating funny songs, dude. So it's like that's my new. I didn't know that was my new favorite thing.
Al Yankovic made it $1 billion industry, my guy. Keep doing what you're doing in your closet. One day on that podcast, you're going to have yourself a slapper out there. Johnny used the word slapper. That's how I know he's really in the music industry, my guy. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm serious, Travis. Keep it up, because the way you described it honestly sounds like it might be therapeutic for you to get it out that way. I look forward to it.
Instead of me getting mad about it, I
know it's so much better. Send the links. That way we can all hear your next hit before it goes live. I want to say thank you to all the people that listened and left comments, to the Travises that came to the show, and Jason and Ross also for pulling up and being here, and the 160 plus people at IBC that let me and Travis get up here and have all the fun. You guys know it's the best in breaking news, crypto, sports, and politics on Mario's channels, and we get to come up here and have all the fun doing spaces like this one. So I want to say thank you to everybody, and personally thank you to Travis Wright for helping me co-host. It's been a great week for IU. I hope you have a great weekend. Good luck on all the other podcasts you got going on. Go Chiefs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rock on. Thank
you. All right. I'll see you guys later. From Mario and IBC, we appreciate you, and have a great weekend, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See ya.